why you need to start talking to dead people. And by dead people, I mean the people of old who have written masterpieces that you need to dissect. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, was told by the Oracle of Delphi that he will become wise when he starts talking to dead people. And, he didn't know what that meant at first. But then he, one day, was in a library, and this was after he had a shipwreck, and he was in this library, and he heard someone say a quote from Socrates, and this is shortly after Socrates died. And then he realized what the oracle meant, that he needed to start talking to the people of old. Books and the people of old need to be learned by you because it's thousands of years of information and lifetime of understanding. You can read someone who is 60, 70, 80 years old, and they're telling you things that they wish they knew when they were 20 years old or 30 years old or 40 years old. And to try to go through life and figure out those things on your own is a waste of time when there is books written for almost everything you can think of, and by people who went through life and went through all the trials and tribulations to understand that meaning. And I know if you're anything like me, you learn a lot by failure and actually going through that, but it still helps to read and understand where these people are coming from, and maybe not have to fail as much to learn a hard lesson because someone 2,000 years ago wrote a 300-page book about it, and you become a quote unquote expert on the matter, and you can deal with it better in your own life. It's a waste to not read the people of old. Read books from all branches of philosophy, all religions, because as Seneca, I think Seneca says, he'll quote a bad author if the line is good. Seneca quotes Epicurus the most in his letters, and Epicurus is the founder of Epicureanism, and that is like the rival school of Stoicism. But he's read his works, and he still quotes him, and he doesn't quote the stuff he disagrees with. He quotes the stuff he agrees with. He quotes the stuff that's good, that he says, yes, you got it right here. We disagree on so many things, but you got it right. You got it right here. You were close to getting it right here. So you shouldn't just discard a whole idea of thinking or branch of philosophy or religion because you don't believe in it, because there is good things to get out of like almost all things. You can derive goodness and things to help you. The Bhagavad Gita, I'm definitely butchering that, but it was essentially what Gandhi's Bible was. And I've read that book, and I think it's a very good book. I don't believe in that religion, but I took a lot of good points away from it, like how you need to detach from your desires, or no, detach from the fruits of your desires. It says we are entitled to our labor, but not to the fruits of our labor. And I think that's an amazing quote and an amazing thing to remind yourself of, and something that so many other schools of thoughts would agree with, even though they don't agree with the whole underlying religion of that, but they would agree with that passage. And Friedrich Nietzsche also has a line where it says, he who has a why can bear almost any how. He was believed nothing mattered. He didn't believe in God. He was a nihilist. And he has a line like that, talking about a why. He would believe there is no why to live. And the rest of that line is a little more dark, but he basically is saying there is no why, but if you have a why, like, so be it. You'll be able to bear almost anyhow. but there is no why, but if you somehow find one. Um, but still, you don't need to take that whole line. You can just take a small portion of that line. And that's what Viktor Frankl does in his book, Man Searching for Meaning. And, he didn't believe in the things Friedrich Nietzsche believed in, but he knew his works, he read his works. So to discard a whole line of thinking and a whole branch of philosophy or religion, I believe, is ignorant. Even if you don't believe in it, you can still derive good things to help you live a better life. And so many things intertwine in some areas and don't intertwine in other areas. But the areas they intertwine on, you can take so much from. And things commute with your brain differently. If it's said in a different way, then you can remember it better. And isn't that all all you should really care about, is just getting it to stick up here and having it at the ready in your daily life? I believe that's what truly matters. So it doesn't matter if, like, the Bible is it's a very Eastern book, and a lot of the things are Eastern. So sometimes it's hard to understand, at least for me, an Eastern way of writing and thinking. So if I can read a book that gives the same essence of information and values, but it's written in a Western way and I can dissect it easier, I don't see a problem with that. And I believe you shouldn't either, because, like I said, once you start, like what Zeno was told, once you start talking to dead people, you will become wise. And that is so true. And to discard the thousands of years of life that has been lived by other human beings is ignorant, I believe. And you are missing out on a boatload of valuable wisdom and information, and seeing how the best people who have lived their lives, and the things they've learned later in life that you can learn now. You can learn early. Think about how valuable it would be to learn something at 20 that a great thinker learned at 60. And you can start implementing that, and how much more you can branch out from that, and how much more you can progress in your life from learning a lesson of utmost importance early in your life. So I believe you should talk to dead people. And I believe, as the oracle said to Zeno, you'll become wise once you do. And you also don't need to talk to dead people to become wise, because there's 80-year-olds, 90-year-olds, 50-year-olds, 40-year-olds that are wise. And you can also talk to these people. But to discard the whole thousands of years of information put into books for you to you can have conversations with some of the wisest people ever, some of the best thinkers ever, some of the smartest people. And to neglect that and to just think you can do it all on your own through trial and error is ignorant, and you're going to waste a lot of time, and you're going to become very upset, I believe, if you don't take the cheat code, which is books.